These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording Sunday, April 28th, and we're talking about Celtics bench unit, i.e. Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser. Before we get into it, a reminder as always, make sure to leave a like on the video. We'd appreciate it very much. Subscribe to the How About Them Celtics YouTube channel. And if you listen to us usually on podcast platforms, follow us there. Leave us a review. We'd appreciate it. All right. Jrue Holiday today at practice had a funny quote, we'll call it, about a Celtics bench unit. He was actually asked something completely different, and then this kind of like came up in his answer, but it was funny. So Jrue was basically asked like the challenges of the challenges of one-on-one defense, the Celtics defensive pressure, etc. He said, yeah, and I think we have the talent for it. I don't really think we have any weaknesses defensively. We as a group, as a unit, we do a great job when we're locked in. I think one-on-one, that's kind of sometimes where it gets a little tricky, but we have great one-on-one defenders. He says, I know even before I was here, they always talked about, i.e. I think just other people on other teams, they always talked about guys on this team, i.e. the Celtics, that don't play defense. And now that I got here, I'm like, they all play defense. When you talk about the white guys play defense. Everyone wants to go at them, but I think one-on-one, we're pretty locked in on the defensive end. So Holiday, maybe not surprised, but people around the league, I guess, don't think the Celtics two-man tandem off the bench down there, Pritchard and Hauser, can play defense, and they've held up pretty well. And I mean, I wrote about it for Celtics blog. It'll probably be up by the time you guys are listening to this, which is tomorrow when we're recording this. They've been great in the postseason so far. They shot the ball super well, 3-7 for Pritchard, 7-15 in the playoffs for Sam Hauser so far. They played really good defense. Pritchard was great navigating screens in Game 3 against Tyler Herro. Sam Hauser has just kind of seamlessly fit into their defensive scheme. And when they made those trades this past summer for KP and Jrue, you knew that they would have to step up, and they've done that really, really well.
Yeah, so Joe Mazzulla talked about the Sam Hauser illusion earlier this season where he's like, I'm going to say it, he's a white guy, and teams think that they can just attack him on defense, and he does a pretty solid job of holding his own. And that's really been the big thing with him this year that's earned him more minutes, aside from, of course, players that were ahead of him in the rotation no longer being a part of the team. He's locked in. He has done a tremendous job of not being able to be picked on despite actively being targeted probably 85% of the time when he's on the floor just because of his look. And that's fine. But he has walked the walk as he's earning extra minutes. He's also absolute nails from three, which everybody already knew, also kind of by looking at him. But to say that you're getting excellent defense from both Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard off your bench is such a luxury to have, because those are two guys that are giving you the spark plug type offense that you're supposed to get from a lot of bench guys, but they're also showing you, hey, look, we can just straight up lock in on defense. You can't target us. Not only can you not target us, but we're actually going to go out there and make a positive impact on that side of the ball. Peyton Pritchard is somebody who's undersized, yet still plays extremely scrappy. And we kind of threw this one back and forth, I think, yesterday at some point. He might be the Neesmith crazy crash dummy nut job this team really has been without all season. Meaning they traded Smart away and everyone was like, well, who's that going to be now? Yes, Jrue Holiday's a good defender and does a lot of the same things that Smart would do, but who's going to be the crazy guy? It looks like it could be Peyton Pritchard. Got into it a little bit with some of the Heat guys last game.
He got into it with Caleb Martin, I think, after Herro threw the ball at Hauser. He talked about it after the game, at practice today. He said, it's just the competitiveness of the game. He threw the ball at Sam. Obviously, I'm going to be there for my teammate. We all are. And it got a little bit chippy, but I've never been one to back down from any situation. It's kind of the fun part of the game, though. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's not like we have hatred necessarily off the court. But when we're on the hardwood, we're going to war. Also said, I think it's always been like that. Obviously, when you're playing, you get to be more involved in that kind of stuff. Those things, but I think I've been always the type of player. If something gets chippy, I'm involved. I think it brings out the best in people, makes me lock in more and more focused, because at that point you got to get each other's best. I mean, Peyton Pritchard's been somebody that Celtics fans have loved ever since he was on the team. He had that really great rookie season, and then last year, he just fell out of the rotation completely. Trade requests, said he didn't want to be there. Said he wanted to be a place where he could play more minutes, and then the Celtics made the trade for Jrue Holiday, and it was sort of anticipated they're like, all right, Pritchard, you're gonna get a chance now. Let's just do something with it. Celtics signed him to an extension before the season even started, a really cheap extension, like around $7 million average annual value. And he's averaged like almost 10 points on 40% shooting from three and has been a huge playmaker for this team. I mean, you talked about pushing the pace too. Like you look at offense in game 2 and they put up similar points in game 2 and 3, but the way they got their points in game 2 was slowing everything down, going to mismatches, sort of like the slog of mid-range shots and trying to attack things inside. In game 3, they were push the pace. They were playing quicker, making quicker decisions, shooting more threes. They're like, and Pritchard was a big part of that. He talked about it at practice too. He's like, last game, i.e. game 3, was kind of try to be more aggressive in transition, the pace of play. Even if they make it, let's get out quick. And so I feel like I got more involved. And I think that's important too. Like the Heat made so many shots in game 3 and it slowed the Celtics down. Even when the Heat make a shot, just keep going, like keep pushing the pace, keep moving faster. And Pritchard did a great job of that in the game. And so credit to him. That's just another thing he brings outside of his 3-point shooting, that ball handling, that ability to push the pace, that ability to get the Celtics to play in rhythm, up tempo. And he's somebody who Al Horford praised in practice too. Like Pritchard's been so unbelievably good this season.
Yeah.
He can play defense too.
Yeah, he does everything. He is a perfect championship level bench player. He's somebody that could probably start on numerous teams throughout the NBA. I know we've tried to go through and be like, what about this team? What about that team?
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch all the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. One of our favorite picks here at the How About Them Celtics podcast is the Jrue Holiday blocks. It's usually 0.5. He just needs more than 0.5 blocks. That means 1 Jrue Holiday block. And that pick is in the bag. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
But we mentioned Peyton Pritchard being a fiery guy that's not going to back down. Just go back in the time machine to the Bucks game last month at TD Garden where Pat Bev did the too small to Luke Cornett. Pritchard sticks up for his teammate, rips off pretty much a 13-point swing all on his own. Flying all over the court, hitting the offensive glass, creating shots for himself, cooking the Bucks, and then talking his shit too. This is a whole new level of Peyton Pritchard we have seen the Celtics unlock this year, and it's going to help them win games going forward. Hopefully they win on Monday. That would be fantastic, and it would be ideal. And I would love to see Peyton Pritchard continue to be a big part of that because you mentioned all these different things he does. It's remarkable the efficiency that he plays with, not only shooting-wise, but just in terms of setting his teammates up. He doesn't even turn the ball over very much, and he still racks up the assists when he's given the opportunity. This is a guy that is passionate, he's skilled, and he's smart, and he's playing for your team. Sick. Absolutely.
Yeah,
sick.
I mean, I'm trying to see. I want to look at his turnovers in the playoffs. He's turned the ball over twice in the playoffs. 9 assists to 2 turnovers. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good ratio. I think that's would probably lead the league. And for what it's worth, nobody on the Celtics has really had super duper turnover problems. Even Tatum, who has the most on the team at 6, is 19 assists to 6 turnovers, which is like a pretty good assist to turnover ratio. But yeah, Pritchard's defense, especially in that game 3, was just all of game 2 was Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro pick and roll, killing the Celtics. And so Pritchard made it a point in game 3 to fight hard and sprint around Adebayo screens. They went over them all. And they brought the big up close enough to where Herro couldn't drive immediately or get a shot off. And by the time Pritchard got around, he was making it uncomfortable. So Herro sort of had to like do this awkward little dribble into the lane or make a pass. And he couldn't have the same shots or passing effectiveness as he did in game 2. And then Hauser, like they'll try to attack Hauser and they've had some success. I think the players are shooting like a little bit below 50% on Hauser in one-on-one, like tracking down on NBA.com. also take that with a grain of salt, because like if he's within 5 feet and nobody else is near the player, like they'll count that basket to him. So it's not exact science.
All his fault.
But the whole thing with Hauser this season has been teams have been so willing and eager to attack him in mismatches, and they call it Hauser Island for a reason. Like they end up taking bad shots, and that's what happened to the Celtics in Game 2 when they got Tyler Herro on them. That's what happened to Sam Hauser all season, and he's been such an underrated, solid defender for the Celtics that he just sort of fits into the whatever scheme they're running, where he can switch, he can ice a screen, he can play help off the ball, and he can get back to his guy if he needs to help. So credit to him for working on that part of a game. And Joe said like it's something we've seen from him since the day he was in Maine. When he was asked about it earlier this season, I think I asked him about it earlier this season, and it's just a credit to him and the work he's put in, and to the Celtics team defense that he can just kind of slip in and be a part of it. So those two have been great on both ends. And Joe has made it a point to say like, yeah, they can shoot, but like everything else they do is just as, if not more important. And it is.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, I mean, the Pritchard contract is going to be quite luxurious coming down the line here when the Celtics are paying him $8 million a season and he's doing a lot of everything. Sam Hauser's a different story. He's probably going to get paid here next offseason. So his days in a Celtics uniform are probably starting to tick down a bit. He's probably only going to play here next season. And I mean, I guess they technically could trade him if they're really afraid of losing him, but they wouldn't get anything back worth it. So he'll probably play through the end of next season. Either way, these two guys are becoming extremely valuable, whether they're going to get paid for it or not. And they're doing it all while helping the Celtics try and strive towards a championship. So good timing on their part. Shout out to the fellas.
Definitely. Shout out to both of them for surprising Jrue Holiday. Them white boys are dangerous, as the Pocahontas meme says.
The meme of the liquor store, it says exciting whites.
Yeah. They're pretty good. And it's also just so underrated how important like them being good is. Like if they had bad seasons, this Celtics step would be like shit. Like they would have no depth. It would be Horford and nothing else if these two didn't live up to the expectations or the trust that the Celtics put in them by making those trades for the Stars. Like I wrote in the article, they made a trade and they put trust in the Stars to be great, but they also put trust in Hauser and Pritchard to step up and improve in a larger role. And they did that. So credit to them. Let us know your thoughts down low in the comments. We'd appreciate it very much. Thank you for tuning in. We have videos and content for y'all every single day. If you're listening to this early Monday morning, I don't know what the deal is going to be with Talking C's. We're trying to figure that out because the Celtics have practice. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'll let Sam wrap it up.
We could also do an afternoon one if we have to. I don't know what.
Yeah, but we also have to record, and then I have to be at the stadium at 4. So and I want to eat. So it's like we don't have a ton of time. But yeah,
you can eat on camera. You do that from time to time.
No, I don't want to eat during a pod. That's horrible. I don't want to do that.
I'm kidding. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video, please. We would appreciate that very much. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. You can also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content Jack was referencing. Each day we're putting something new on the channel. 5 a.m., whether it's a full pod, Tuesday, Thursday, or Sunday. We got game recaps the morning after each game, or videos like this that fill in the days in between. We're here for you, and we're also live for Talking C's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. It's a little bit wonked in the playoffs here with the different media availability schedules. It may be disrupted a bit, but typically that's when we're here. And Tuesdays around 6 p.m., we're here for Celtics at the Roundtable with me, Jack, Bobby, several Celtics beat writers. It's a great time. Come hang out, come watch trivia, and come out for pregame. We're here for a half hour before each game. It's a ton of fun. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. Jack mentioned it earlier in the pod. You can follow us there. You're going to get the pods and game recaps right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review on Apple. We would appreciate it. And again, follow us on Spotify. We love to see that number grow. You can email us. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address for that. Send us your thoughts on these playoff games. We love to hear from you. And even if it's not basketball related, we'll definitely read it. Rat List is also accepted. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find our streams there and on YouTube and on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack Simone NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. It's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on. Taco.